doing the damage and applying the pressure like we saw Cooler do earlier in his first game against Toxic, then it's so unlikely that they're going to be able to consistently take them down. So xron definitely has to be careful of that he doesn't get overrun, because that's when the totems really shine.
Okay, predictions as we go in now into our first map. The expert prediction is a 3-0 for xron. Garpy, I think, has his work cut out. On the spot real quick, what do you reckon?
I'm gonna share the expert opinion. I'm gonna say 3-0 for xron, but I think Garpy can definitely put up one hell of a fight.
Yeah, I definitely agree too. I think xron's in the best shape he's been in so far. Garpy, he's quite unpredictable. He's always a bit of a wild card in tournament, but in terms of a weekly broadcast, my money's definitely on xron as well. But as we've started things off, Garpy with that Galena, xron with Doomslayer, we'll see how things are going to start off now. Mega just about to spawn, Garpy giving it up, instead opting to try and take a rail instead.
Yep, xron coming aggressively, trying to get aside, maybe pick up or see when Mega or Heavy rather is being picked up, do some damage, and he's actually landing quite a bit. He's going to push into the fight. Garpy having picked up Heavy at this point. LG versus LG. xron will break away, and Garpy will try and get position on these two health bubbles, try and maybe cut off xron from going to the Mega next.
Well, xron technically could have tried to go away and down Banana potentially, but the rail, what an entry shot there. That was an amazing start.
Yeah.
Garpy's rewarded by the Mega too. Didn't want to panic and get that stack early on. I wonder if he's going to have time to maybe get Heavy. Does xron even have, I think, the utility to try and fight for this? He's going to concede it. He gets one rail, but
that's a good amount of damage, because he landed the rail after the Heavy was picked up, and that is so important, because if you land the shot afterwards, you basically negate that entire pickup, which is what xron just managed to do. Garpy playing it a bit slowly, but in comes xron, using that double jump so effectively. It's such an excellent tool to avoid rocket damage, and Garpy will break away. 15 points of health left at that point, and xron is just going to be relentlessly aggressive, picking up Mega and taking Heavy as well, it seems.
A really nice rocket there from Garpy. That flick to the left, just on the offside. I like it, but trying to spring some damage. Unfortunately, that missed tri-bolt. Yeah, he has to get out. He's very railable, though. This is scary territory. There's no armor either. That missed shot could have been a 1-1, but unfortunately, he misses his mark. And here comes the utility of Galena and her totems. He's able to heal up, and still, again, it misses. These missed rails are starting to really punish xron in these situations. Garpy, he's surviving in so many situations where he otherwise has no right, but he just can't land the damage. The fight on Heavy takes place. xron in and out, but he's very, very weak.
I think
one
that's 1
HP.
Yeah, has to be. xron getting away with just a sliver of health remaining, stacking up slightly. Mega will be the next item up for contest. Here we go. xron's going to go up. Will he go down? He will. Excellent LG from Garpy, and he can take the Mega as his prize, as his reward, before moving on to Heavy. Looking at xron, maybe hoping to do some more damage. Look at that, that's one of those shortcuts we were talking about earlier. xron pushing in aggressively. LG Rocket doesn't have rail to work with though. Still pushing in for Heavy, so risky.
I mean, I guess the consolation prize is he might be able to refrag here. He knows that Garpy is going to be extremely weak. The question is, how many totems does he have? Does xron have that information? The danger, I don't even think xron's making bad decisions. He's not making these bad reads, but he's putting a lot of faith in. Oh god, the tri-bolt just peppering it at Garpy. Not expecting that at all.
That was nearly perfect tri-bolt. It had to be, seeing how much damage he dealt with that. Excellent moves from xron. Out comes the Berserk and the punch. There we go, you gotta love it. Taking down Garpy once again, and now it's 2-3. Perfectly reasonable, just one frag off a deficit. xron still perfectly in fighting shape.
It's an opportunity to score some momentum. I mentioned before I was rudely interrupted by that sick play. Ultimately, it's not even like xron's making bad decisions. He's just, in some of these positions he's putting himself in, you have to put a lot of faith in your accuracy. And he's been missing so many rails that if he just didn't, Garpy would have died. He's been under the HP mark of the rail pretty much every single time, but it is the missed shots that has allowed Garpy, even here, like Garpy, if he wants to lay the pressure on, because xron is missing the shots and he's not putting Garpy weak enough to worry about it, the missed rails are the absolute culprit for that.
Yeah, he will land that final rail right there, and that will take down the Heavy pretty much instantly, messing up a little bit of jump right there, and Mega looks like it will be going to Garpy. That's a nice bit of damage coming out right there. Very unexpected, and xron has to kind of cede position on the Heavy, play a bit more passively, and just hope to do some damage. Out comes the tri-bolt again, and that's nice damage. 70 damage on the tri-bolt. Actually, xron basically outstacking Garpy right now, missing such an important rail, because that's going to give Garpy the stack and the confidence he needs to manifest himself on the map again.
I'd ask if we can see his rail statistics, but I'm not even sure we want to at this stage. I think it's pretty self-explanatory that xron's been unable to hit the rails he's desperately needing, and if he doesn't, I mean, half this map is almost done, and he's hit barely any rails.
Yeah.
And that is directly what is giving Garpy room, I think, to kind of move around the map a bit more free. He's not having to run away. xron can't establish control because Garpy's just not leaving him alone, right? And
Again,
another miss. I don't want to point out every single miss, but, I mean, do the maths, right? How much health has Garpy survived on because of it?
yeah. If anything, though, xron actually managing to get a Mega this time around, but takes a bad rail in return. Heavy up in around 15 seconds. And he's gonna make a move on it. He's got a few rockets to work with. In he goes. Garpy has got the better positioning, landing the LG, pushing him back, and xron has to once again abandon his efforts at taking Heavy.
No armor just yet. There is armor nearby if he's able to sit around and wait for it to appear. The light armor near him was currently gone, which is actually very unfortunate, especially as Garpy is on the warpath. He's looking for another frag, and he gets what he's looking for.
Yep.
Overstays his welcome near the Mega. He's going to die for it, and Garpy once more just establishing. What's wrong with... I mean, if you're spawning right next to a rail and it's all you've got and you've been missing every rail, would I even call that a good spawn?
Not at all. He has to back away from that. xron needs to start hitting these shots. He even misses the one on the bounce pad, and now Garpy seizes that opportunity to chase, try to do some extra damage. Won't manage though, but...
We've all been there. When you miss a rail and it annoys you. And it makes you miss another rail, which makes you miss another rail and another rail. xron, well, I'm so sorry, mate. I do not mean to keep bringing attention to it, but it's just continuing to happen, isn't it? But I wonder if generally, like, is xron even in his own head now? Because he's missing every shot. Is he having mouse problems or something?
I mean, we're seeing a very, very familiar pattern emerge here. Garpy gets positioned on the major item, xron goes in to land the shot, misses the rail, and Garpy punishes or get away clean. That's just what keeps happening over and over again. And at this point, I feel like xron has done more damage with the tri-bolt than he has with the rail.
But he is going for a weapon swap. That rocket was excellent, and it's put xron so weak. He's going in for the Mega, but if Garpy catches him, which he has, oh no! And the mistake there was xron just underestimating Garpy, not just turning around and doing the smart thing, which is just sit there and let him kill himself. That's
a nice wreck off the spawn, though. Instantly just takes down Garpy. He's got a good eye on that Heavy as well. Will take the armor, but still critically low on health. Garpy is just going to back away, doesn't have the weapons to fight with. Out comes that LG though with xron. Okay, 2.5 minutes to go, 2 frags of a deficit, perfectly doable for xron.
One of the big things here, he's using the LG. I genuinely wonder, I do wonder how often he's going to be going in with rail when he knows it just hasn't been working. It's now rocket, it's LG. Garpy is frighteningly weak. Beautiful weapon swap to the SMG.
That first rocket though, a bit of a lucky one. He just landed it defensively and Garpy just jumped right onto it. Garpy managing to take Heavy, outstacking xron by now, but he does manage to back out of the room alive. Doesn't even take down the totem. He clearly saw the totem. I hope he's gonna loop back around for that, because you can't afford to leave them up for too long, because before you know it, there's a whole nest of them.
He's getting some nice LG. Garpy misses the shot. A little bit of a strange turn of the seesaw right there, actually.
Yep. Hey.
But now it's 6-6, and just like that, xron has been losing pretty much the entire map, and he's been finally hitting those marks. Misses another rail shot, misses it back to back. I mean, he's going for 3 misses now. The reason he's been getting a lot of these fights in his favor is he's stopped using the rail. But I am fearful.
There we go.
Wonderful shot, and he sets it up. I would have been shocked if he missed that one.
And the damage of the spawn, that won't hurt one bit. And he's even gonna get positioning on Mega as well. Garpy, are you going to commit to this? Oh, xron actually gives up position at the very last moment, and it will allow Garpy to take it. Did he get a little bit greedy? Did he think he might want to pick up that small health bubble, the small armor first? Because it costed him dearly.
xron is very weak. Looking to retreat, has to watch out. One single totem at this health is a bad situation. Garpy needs to call this one back.
Yeah.
By all means, this map could keep going. We have hit the 1 minute warning, but only 1 frag separates the 2 players.
Yep.
The question is going to be, can Garpy catch him? You know, xron is absolutely going to play that defensive game. Looking to get a read, hits the shot at last in the teleporter, and I actually think that one difference in stack that rail established might make it kind of scary for Garpy, because he can't really take a fight. He's not got the health anymore. Perfect trap.
Off the spawn, instantly pushing in aggressively. Totem will delay him just ever so slightly. Misses the follow-up rail though, and that will be Garpy getting away from the skin of his teeth. Ooh. Almost going down on the return, looking for another peek. But at this point, 20 seconds left on the clock. Garpy has to make these frags happen now. xron doesn't commit with the Berserk, is happy to just stay away. He knows that he doesn't have to force anything. He knows he's in the lead, he's got control, so he needs to just let Garpy run down the clock so he will win it.
I gotta say, that was a great turnaround from xron. I think a lot of players could have been, I think, maybe tilted off the, complete lack of rail accuracy. And
what was that angle at the very end?
That was him just trying to show it to the camera, I think, just before we thought it. But
that was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. The rail wasn't amazing either side, as we can clearly see. But I think it was just those impactful positions, those moments where xron consistently had Garpy railable to death. Countless times. I've straight up lost count of how many times he could have killed him, and he was unable to seal it. And it would give Garpy room to run around, which gave him room to restack back up, fight for those pickups and all that stuff, and it would put xron more behind than he should have been. But though that big sort of spree of frags he got halfway through, he just stopped relying on the railgun at all and just went with the rocket and LG. And
that was definitely the right decision because he missed so many shots. He shot 43 rails that map and he hit only 13 of them, only around 30% damage. And yeah, here we see again Garpy initially a very, very strong start. And ultimately xron does manage to catch up once again.
Yeah, these are some nice, actually, the replays kind of show us how the fights went, ultimately. And I'd like, shout out to the Berserk.
Yeah.
We do get to see the Berserk put in a bit of work sometimes. It's just not all the time you'll see it used as an aggressive tool, but if you know that the damage is there. My point, though, is that I think it was the keeping the cool. With xron. I think those kind of misses in as crucial of a situation as a lot of them were, like even right here where he was just looking for any means to hit these defensive shots and he was missing them, which means you're spending time turning around and not focusing on just going as fast as you can to run away. I think a lot of players out there would have been quite, upset by that, and the only change to rail for the most part was when he would lay the trap and read Garpy going through a teleporter, the kind of shot where you quite literally can't miss it. You're waiting for them, she's teleporter. The only reaction you need is seeing them go through it. Yeah. And at the speed Garpy was going, it's pretty unlikely he was going to miss it. So I think he just kind of changed the situations where he would opt to go for that kind of micro shot that he had been missing the entire time. But, well done. We're talking as if he's lost. He didn't. He actually won the map, which is a fantastic start. But it looked to me like a slow start. And now we're going into a couple more maps.
Absolutely, and I really think that you have a good point in raising how xron managed to keep his cool, and I think that one of the best points to describe it is at the very end, when he pulled out that second Berserk, and he knew Garpy is low, he knew he can kill him with the punch, but instead he looks at the clock and he says, you know what, 15 seconds, I don't have to do it. If I rush in and I end up dying somehow by taking 1 or 2 direct rockets, then Garpy actually still has a chance. He has around 10 seconds to find me and kill me, so he just very, very collected, decided not to chase the frag and turn right back around to run down the clock. So
yeah, we talked at the very beginning about the results these two players have had in the past. They used to be on the same team, xron had been Maestro for a bit, for a small time. I know Maestro kind of they'd sort of changed their players quite a lot during that time. I think that they took quite a while, trying to refine their Quake roster. And I kind of feel like personally that they must be quite content with their lineup now. So they've had the Razy and the Wenger and the Garpy, granted for quite a long time. And I think this might be the longest running spree of players they've had unchanged. But my point is these two players are very familiar with each other. Yeah. Not just because they were former teammates at one point, but because they'd played competitively in tournament. It's different versions of Duel, granted. That was the old system before Time Limit became the new thing, which is kind of almost weird to say that Time Limit Duel is the new thing in Quake. But ultimately, I think xron is in a better shape than Garpy is at this point in time. That map, it's kind of hard to gauge that. I think Garpy just must have looked a bit more comfortable. I don't know, I feel like it almost looked like xron was nervous. Like some of those misses looked a little bit suspect, like the signs of a player that was just having the first map of the day in a tournament setting. I know he would have been warming up, but hey, we're going into more maps now, and maybe this is the time you kind of just go straight into your top speed.
Yeah, here we go, right off the bat. xron playing BJ this time around, and Garpy on Ranger. So again, xron going for the burst damage. Garpy has got that extra mobility, but also, of course, the orb has great damage potential as well.
I think also the verticality, the ability to sort of go up jump pads, and even in the center of this map, not having to go as predictably as you could with the teleporter. Ranger becomes a little bit more unpredictable as a champion on a map like this. And there's so many ways you can go around the corner anyway, and that rail's going to miss, giving xron an opening chance to maybe chase this down.
I would typically favor Ranger out of this matchup. Very often it's really close, but I would say that Ranger is the better pick than BJ, because xron needs to be extremely collected and kind of trap his opponent and bait him into taking fights that are not good for him to just pull out double rockets, double LG, and make something happen. And xron so far, very, very convincing control. Has got Mega to his name, has got Heavy to go with as well. Meanwhile, Garpy down to 100, looking pretty healthy himself, but definitely xron in the driver's seat.
I mean, I foresee quite a slow map from this. I mean, the way xron is already approaching this, where his goal is control. He's not even looking to get frags at the moment. He's looking to just get as much stack as he can, get the timing.
Yep.
He listens for the armor, or is at least looking to see whether he knows where he is, so he can at least get somewhat of a mental timer as we go. If he maintains a stronger stack than Garpy, when the inevitable fight comes, and you can see he's looking for a trap right now.
Yeah, exactly.
He just needs to dual wield, catch Garpy a little bit off guard, and that free dual wield damage, if he makes sure it's like unreturnable. It's the first rocket.
Yep.
Going in now for the kill potentially. Those defensive rockets, though, so good! So good indeed, Garpy. Wise to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you gotta be careful. 2 weapons, your ammo runs out so much quicker as well. So xron at the end had to switch to the rail, tried to make something miraculously happen there. Ultimately couldn't do so, and that's going to put Garpy 1 frag ahead. And damn, look at the rails come out from xron though. He's learned from last map. He said, no more. This time my rail's gonna be so on point.
Didn't need to stick with it either. Just change weapon when the time is right.
Yep.
Don't have to go to the rail all the time. There's such a common mistake that even some players at this level seem to make, is having a rail out when you just don't need it. It'll make your life easier, and it's effective at all ranges, but xron making no chances there.
Yep.
And the LG was, the right tool for the job. He's now keeping that control, trying to actually fake out Garpy just a little bit.
Yeah. And Garpy was just coming in so aggressively after taking up the Mega Health, but realized at just the right time that Heavy had already been taken, and he's just going to withdraw from that fight. Because, as we just said, xron with the BJ is really looking to set up these traps and do that burst damage, and here we go, rockets are phenomenal. Out comes the orb, looking the wrong way, and both will go down 2-2.
There is a victory to be had there. From xron, though, is that he didn't actually use his ability and Garpy did.
Yeah.
So if they both, restack up and they have opposite parts of the map for the spawn, I think the dual wield alone, when Garpy hasn't got the ability to, I think, answer back with the orb, that might matter a great deal. You can see the slow movement. xron looking for another trap, but I think Garpy trying to say, whatever you can do, I can do better. It's not just xron that's playing this nice and slow, but however, he did completely.
Oh, there we go.
Completely go past xron there. The one angle he wasn't looking at.
And he even looked for it. He tried to see inside the teleporter doorway, but couldn't get sight of xron. I'm just surprised how long it took xron to actually fire that first rocket. It was like a full 1 or 2 seconds, and Garpy was just standing there. But xron setting up a perfect trap, and I think that Garpy at this point is probably going to try and slow it down even more, because he's going to be so cautious knowing that death might lurk around every corner.
It's kind of surprising to me that Garpy has been playing as slow as he has, but in that one instance, he just wasn't thorough at all. He just didn't look at the angle. But at the same time, it's an awkward time, but even if he did take that angle right at the split second, xron may have used the teleporter, might have really messed with his senses just a little bit. Some damage happens, they're going to trade, but now he's looking for the rail shot. It's it! Garpy's Mega is not going to mean too much. There should be a little bit of light armor near him. As we can see, he's just picked it up.
Yep.
But the frag lead, it does belong to xron. He's got a dual wield. He has just short of every single weapon. Yeah. And we'll see what he can do with it. Here we go.
Will be up in just a few seconds. Both players kind of waiting on it. xron just all the way in the back. Both just sneaking around. He's gonna get sight of Garpy. That's a good rocket from both players. Garpy actually gonna push in. And xron isn't even going to stick around. He's going to burn his ability and back right off. And that means that both players will have used their abilities at this point. They both have to wait for it to recharge and pick up those valuable hourglasses. So I think we're gonna see, again, a little bit of a slow play for the next minute or so, unless something extraordinary happens.
Garpy looking for the same rail that had hit him, jumping down towards Mega. The issue is missing that rail. You can actually look at the stack that xron's looking at. He has a rail's worth of health left to try and take this fight. If he wants to be aggressive, it's now even worse thanks to the Heavy.
Yep.
I mean, he's even going to try and fight for this Mega, I imagine. caught the rhythm of the rockets and just didn't get caught by a single one. Garpy knows there's no way he can fight. However, sticking around, very risky. He went for a big play, tried to go for some dire orb damage. I'm honestly kind of surprised he was still there. I was so ready for him to run away.
Yeah, nice little bit of self-damage right there from xron, using the nail gun to do just a tiny bit of damage to himself so he can pick up that small armor and deny it to Garpy, because he knows that Garpy off the spawn is going to look for those resources to get himself up to 100 stack and try to take the fight right away. So excellent play from xron, but Garpy landing some nice rails down there to keep his stack in check. Mega will be going to xron, but Garpy actually pushes things so aggressively. Rockets are solid from xron though, and xron actually almost got pushed off the Mega right there.
I think this fight is, this entire map has been xron's pace. The big thing is that when a fight is happening, he's outstacking Garpy quite significantly. Garpy is then, I think, you know, a bit itchy on the trigger finger with those orbs. However, he might still be able to get it, but what a shot on the rail! He needed to land that one, and it's going to be an even bigger divide. xron looking much better in this map. I was about to say Garpy, he's being itchy on the trigger finger with the dire orb because there's no escape. That rail was fantastic, and xron remains one step ahead once again.
xron absolutely deciding to step up his rail play after that first matchup, because right now he's just, it seems like he's hitting everything. Garpy pushing in aggressively though. Nails coming out and the rail to finish it off, and right now it's starting to get really difficult for Garpy. He's 6 frags behind, there's 3 more minutes on the clock. He needs to make something happen, and he needs to do so quickly. Almost knocking xron off the map, that's an excellent start, but still not enough.
I'm going to be honest, this is actually, you can see why xron in the previous map was actually putting himself in those situations and those positions, because if he just had the accuracy he expected himself to have, he would have been able to win these fights. Like, these are the exact same positions and fights he took on Awoken. None of them worked because he missed every single rail. Now he's hitting the shots, you can see why he was putting himself in those situations to begin with.
And the frag deficit is just going up and up and up for what?
Huh?
xron.
Oh.
He was not. Is he just gonna sit on this and wait? There comes Garpy.
No, he's, oh, God.
He's not even gonna go for it.
Watch out, mate. Mate. Oh my!
He's not seeing it!
Oh
and then he jumps out!
Oh my God, please!
What is this?
Oh my word! You bet you died anyway. You died anyway.
Doesn't matter, he got the style points. We are seeing Quake evolve right before our very eyes this matchup. xron, you are mad, I love you.
But also you died there.
Yeah, you did, you did.
Oh, he's gonna die again!
2 HP, Garpy does get out of the room alive, but at this point, 2 minutes left. He'll take quite a bit of time stacking back up, especially if he loses out on the Mega. Oh, actually, orbs right onto it. xron getting pushed back. Garpy finishing it up, and it's actually not over yet. 5 frags, 2 minutes. This is still doable.
However, I'm looking at the spawn and the jump pad. Yeah, fortunately, xron did go the other way, so can't quite get the refrag.
Yeah,
you are right. By no means is this over. There's still a lot of work left, but
yeah. That was a good spawn for xron though, because Garpy showed up hoping to do some damage or maybe take the heavy, but he realized he didn't have the stack, and he realized that xron had just the perfect spawn to deny it to him, and so he backed away. Excellent defensive rockets from Garpy. He is gonna chase right now. He knows he has to. Oh, misses the rail. Wouldn't have mattered anyways. xron had picked up Mega just before, so that wouldn't have been the kill shot after all.
I think Garpy knows he needs to fight, I say, before he dies, and loses the heavy. I was about to say, I think he really was trying to fight for that heavy because he hasn't got a lot of time left. I think, unfortunately, there was an opportunity to come back. We've now hit the 1 minute warning, and, you know, the snowball effect is in full effect. This should be a 2-0 now for xron, and it was a worthy attempt there from Garpy.
Oh,
he's going to get 1 frag, and I mean, he has a lot of frags in the Pro League thanks to a couple of weeks ago on this very same map versus Sparty.
Yeah.
Where I'm pretty sure he got over 30 frags, so that's always going to help him in the long run, I'm sure. That might matter at some point, but right now this map is going to go to xron instead, so what can Garpy take away from this? That's the question. Every time a fight happened, xron had better accuracy. I think he had more of a stack. I think he was just better equipped. Garpy was being a bit itchy with that dire orb the moment it was used, and he didn't get enough damage. I mean, his escape route is now completely gone. And, yeah, just a bit too all-in, I think, some of these fights. That was a really nice teleport, too. Surgical. Surgical.
xron played this map extremely well. He set up the traps knowing where they would work best, managed to do a lot of damage with the dual wield, and used and hung on rather to his ability long enough to make sure that he could bait it out of Garpy instead.
Now, the pillar near Mega.
The pillar, yeah.
My personal favorite moment in this map.
And then at the end of Awoken, the rocket jump up to see that rail angle over the top of the map down to rocket. My goodness, xron.
But you know what that also did? That pillar moment, it wasted time. It wasted just a little bit of time where Garpy's running around, doesn't really know what he's looking at. And when he finally gets caught off guard and, the fight happens, it's kind of like, well, that was almost like verging the 2-minute point anyway, where there was a pretty significant deficit. So, pretty well played there. Xron, it's the way he was approaching there, and I feel like Garpy wasn't making horrendous decisions before the fights happened. It was just, it just came down to when the fight took place. Xron was just better equipped every single time. And I think in a huge part was how slow and hard to find he was. I mean, how many times did Garpy ambush Xron there? It just didn't happen.
No. And also just the railgun accuracy. Xron really stepping it up this time around and doing so much damage. Here we go. Gonna see a...
I'm surprised he couldn't see him there. Well, actually, no, that's a taster.
That's a little teaser.
That's clearly a taster for what we're obviously going to see a little bit later.
Built the hype for that extreme moment of Quake. And look at that, Xron. Yeah, as you said, wisely switching to LG right there. No reason to risk it with the railgun. There were some really good frags this map around.
Absolutely spectacular, and it was a much needed recovery. You go, no, he looked at the bottom and assumed that because he couldn't see his feet sticking out that he wasn't there, and that was just bam, goodbye.
Yeah. And then turning left around the corner in the rail room and firing some nails into the corner like, are you here? That's just insult to archery right there.
But that fight that we saw just a second ago where Garpy was for some reason just kind of sticking around, I think there is a little bit of that stubbornness that we talked about when we saw Tox, and that was an absolutely beautiful shot. That one was even better. A little bit surprised because he even could see the angle with that one thanks to all the action and commotion that was taking place, but it's the rails. He starts to capitalize and
I like the little 360 coming out of Garpy. He has no clue, and then xron dropping down. Rockets. I mean, the Rockets could have just been better. The first one was a complete miss. He was clearly expecting Garpy to be way further ahead already.
I also wonder if he was just so excited that he got away with that, that when the fight actually happened, he was a bit like, oh, I've actually got to take a fight here too. I've actually got to shoot this guy. And we actually saw, 57 lightning cells, so he's didn't have the ammo for the LG. No doubt he would have had LG if he had just a little bit more ammo for that. But that is going to be map 2 done. We have map 3 next, Veil of Nath, and we finally get to see that famous xron Scale Bearer.
Yep.
So we'll see. What do we expect to see from this one? I mean, just as good of a result? Do you think Garpy has a chance here?
I mean, Garpy has arguably one of the best champions for this map, Sorlag. She's fast, she's got a lot of stack, she's got the spit damage with very little health bubbles available, and of course, the map is toxic all around. He can walk through any of the acid pools and take no damage whatsoever, so he's got one of the best champions for Veil. But xron, if he can keep hitting the shots the way he did on the previous map, and he uses that Scale Bearer well, which I don't thought that he will, then this is going to be extremely difficult for Garpy.
If we see something with Scale Bearer, it's that bull rush is so good at just setting up the frags, knocking you up and putting you in a position where you haven't really got that amazing air movement. I know Sorlag has good movement to begin with, but it's still not the same when you factor in how tiny the map is. Plus, I think the unpredictability factor. The thing about the lesser used champions is, even though you can fundamentally play Quake with all of them, it is the flair that the individual champions bring to the table, and Scale Bearer is definitely one of them. If you've never played Duel against Scale Bearer, and you're against xron, who has lots of experience here, can you say you're fully prepared for the little unexpected things that might happen? I'm mainly thinking about just bumping into the guy.
Oh yeah, when you go up a bounce pad, he's coming down, or one of those situations, then that can kill you real quick. And look at that speed that xron is getting just by walking. It's one of Scale Bearer's many strengths. Looking for the rail, won't fight it just yet, and will retreat out of the room. No ability used just yet, but Garpy did burn his.
I always thought that beginner level Scale Bearer was such a good champion for those that, maybe you haven't got the strafe movement down, maybe you haven't got a lot of the basic movement, so you can kind of move fast with this champion without having to really do much. However, at this level of play, on a map like this, which has the twists and turns, it still helps a lot now. Opening damage, Garpy should lose a frag there, and he is indeed 1-0.
Yeah, completely caught out of position right there and doesn't even make the jump across to the pillar. xron, perhaps a bit too aggressive, flies right on past him. 3 points of health, both players extremely low.
That
Garpy won't pursue.
Oh, the rail! I was about to say that's the clumsiest fight I've ever seen, and then that rail hit. Never mind,
the
all is right once again. Ooh, that is a cheeky rail. In the backside.
No, good thing that xron picked up heavy just before he got railed, because otherwise it probably would have been fatal. He knows he's gonna break away right now, doesn't have the stack to compete with a fully stacked heavy champion like Sorlag, and he's just gonna get out of the room. Oh! That almost went straight for his face.
I think we all felt that one.
Yeah.
We literally felt the air zip past our cheeks. It's a bit of an explosive map so far. We can expect nothing less from these two champions. The rail's going to be good. Misses the second, but Garpy not going to be too shy just yet. Mega gets taken. Xron now with the light armor. Nice and stacked. The ball rush is ready, as is the LG. And he set up a free shot. Second guesses the weapon choice. Doesn't matter, because Garpy's going to fall anyway. And there it is, the ball rush. It knocks you in such a straight line. The follow-up shot is so easy to hit at this level of play. There's no way Xron's going to miss so many of them.
Right now, though, Garpy doing a good amount of opening damage right there, knowing that Xron has little to work with and defend himself with, doesn't have his ability anymore, and Garpy uses that opportunity to take heavy, position him on Mega, and now Xron has to get out of the room. Will take one of the few hell bubbles available to him, but Garpy, using that spit, will know pretty much where he's at right now. Xron setting up a trap, but Garpy, no, he says, I know where you are, and down you go, 3-1. I
think Xron made a good decision there. He is going to get ambushed on a unfortunate spawn, just dedicating towards Mega there. But yeah, ultimately, the moment he got hit by that acid damage, I think he knew Garpy could see him, and the location where he was on the map, there were quite a few potential locations. If he dedicated to one of them, there was a good chance he was going to die. So he did try and spring a trap that didn't work out, but I think that was the best of a bad situation recovery attempt right there. Garpy able to freely move around these acid pools. Remember, Sorlag's passive doesn't take acid damage, so these lockbox style maps are so beneficial to her. The missed rail, and now Garpy's looking to go in. The ball rush, trying to escape. Yeah, no attacks here. Nope. Trying to get out.
That direct rocket from Garpy, that really was the point at which xron decided that this is not a fight that he should take, and he will just back away and will actually secure himself a heavy as well, landing another rail as well. Garpy in a bad spot, but the damage combined with the rockets and the spit, that's gonna add up. xron missing a very important rail right there, and both will break away, but they will find each other right back in rockets, and xron, excellent rail to finish it.
Straight out of the map, that one.
Yep.
Very weak though. The light armor's going to be at least something, and there should be some pickups nearby. xron not confident in the fight just yet. Caught off guard, going in, and again, the little bit of, I think, optimized movement, where even if you haven't got a ball rush, as long as you're going fast, just moving into a champion to do some damage, we are definitely seeing xron go for some of these champion-specific fights. It's just that he hasn't got the stack. Whereas now, he got that pickup frag. He definitely does.
And it was actually pretty close, because he knocked Garpy back onto the ledge. A few steps or one step further, he would have gone off the map. And out comes the gauntlet with the plus forward. Garpy, down you go. xron healing away that poison damage as well, and looking good. 3 frags in the lead. Next point of contest will be Heavy, and Garpy, excellent LG. Heavy will be going to the Lizard, and maybe he'll get himself a Mega as well. xron contesting and using actually the bull rush. Oh, and finds him in midair. Excellent play from xron. Garpy was looking for an escape by dropping down, but xron clearly saw to that plan and finished him off beautifully.
Now, I mentioned earlier, and oh my god, that 180 rail. Looking to hit a third. It does miss, but Garpy, vulnerable if he gets clipped by one now. With 7 of them left, that barely missed. Garpy is really dancing with the devil, testing these rail angles. He has been able to retreat. Pick up the heavy. How much damage are you going to take? The acid spit. In vain, I fear.
Garpy just a bit too soon right there on the heavy. Actually has an opportunity to get away, because xron was expecting to see him when he jumped right there and hoped to get a final shot right off there, but ultimately didn't manage to do so. Garpy does get away, but will he be able to survive? He's down to a few points of health. xron, all you need is that shotty. But of course, xron doesn't have an accurate idea just how low Garpy might be.
He's going to have somewhat of an idea now. He knows how much damage he's done, and Garpy somehow is still standing. He has a heavy. If he can get this Mega, he'll know, I think they'll have nothing to worry about. So we'll see if xron can collect. Whether he is actually starting to delay a little bit. Even a little bit of self-damage. I think he was just trying to sort of waste it. Make his presence known, potentially. Or somewhat of a jump, potentially like a trick jump, I imagine, maybe a nail gun.
At this point, we're past halfway through the time limit of this map, and Garpy's wasting so much time trying to restack while xron is just in control, finds an excellent rail. Out comes the bull rush. Will he find him?
Oh, he hit the terrain. Not that it matters. Not that it matters.
Nope, doesn't even need it. And he spots Garpy going through a teleporter, looking for some damage. Doesn't do it with the rocket, and he knows he'll have to give up Mega at this point. But no, Garpy actually going to heavy right away. What a play from the Brit. And xron up, then down, the bounce pad over and over. Garpy waiting for him patiently. Well done.
Now, Garpy just needs 4 frags. He's surrounded by small pickups, so it's actually not completely out of resources in this situation. The light armor as well. And just like that, he was prepared to take a fight until xron caught him with the LG, and now he's straight back to being forced to run away.
And luckily for him, Sorlek is good at doing just that. That air control ability gives her so much freedom of movement, but xron will catch him right in the rocket room. Can he get away? You gotta feel the clench when he jumps out, because you know that that rail is just trying to get you in the back. Rockets are decent, but don't do much damage because, of course, xron using that Scale Bearer Bull Rush, which cuts his damage down.
Yeah, reducing the damage during the Bull Rush is one of those underratedly powerful tools that, again, like we talked about levels of experience that Garpy, he's so used to being able to pepper some damage, it's close range, yeah, let's get some LG. The moment he's taking heavily reduced damage because he's in his Bull Rush, and then he hits you, I mean, it's very easy for him to open up and set up a fight, especially in these close quarters. It's why he's gone Scale Bearer on the Veil of Nath in the first place. Now the turnaround damage. xron hasn't got a Bull Rush, but his LG has just been that little bit better, and Garpy almost with the suicide. I wish I could say that's the first time that's happened to him.
3 HP left, barely hanging on right there, and he is railable. xron misses the crucial shot, but forces him off position. Doesn't manage to do the final damage though, so Garpy's still in it. He's got 2.5 minutes to work with, 3 frags to make up. That's definitely still possible, but it's got to start happening soon.
Starting to run out of time though. The clock becomes his worst enemy by this point of the map. Just over 2 minutes, and xron with a very comfortable looking lead. Doesn't even matter at this point that Garpy has the stack, because look, those rails, on top of being very irritating, I think, for Garpy to deal with, it's just the constant LG. Yeah. And it's because they're both playing the giant champions. And Sorlag, she may be fast, but she's one of the easiest to hit champions in the entire game. If you have a good LG, you're probably not going to miss. Here comes the Bull Rush. Oh my god, it's just clay pigeon shooting at that point. Knock him up, shoot him down.
Yeah,
what a kill.
Excellent play by xron, because of course he knows that if he collects major item after major item and his opponent doesn't, he knows that there's not much for Garpy to work with at all, and so he just uses the Bull Rush, gets into the room, finds the opponent, and then just finishes it off quickly.
And the Bull Rush giving the reduced damage, the damage you're going to be doing to him while he's setting you up to get that free frag isn't even anything he has to worry about.
No, even direct rockets, they only do 50 damage at that point, and when you've got the kind of stack that Scale can get up to, I mean, it's nothing to worry about at all. xron pushing in, yep, that's another rocket, and at this point, 1 minute left on the clock, 5 frags to go. Garpy, this is looking like an impossible task.
I always love seeing it. We see a top level player going in with a champion that you just, by all means, don't see every day. It's so refreshing to just see how different the champions can play. I mean, we've seen Veil of Nath countless times already in the Pro League. How many times have you seen it with a Scale Bearer do this? It just makes the whole thing so refreshing. Here comes another fight. Garpy still cannot get the damage that needs to be done because xron continues to outstack and outsustain. 30 seconds left from the very important 3-0. Expert prediction was bang on. Our prediction, I mean, I think it was a safe bet, wasn't it, to assume this would be how things go down. Shame to see Garpy go out like this, but xron is a rising star, and this is exactly why.
Absolutely, and building on what we said earlier, I think it's very nice that the current format of the Pro League allows for such a variety in champions. It's something that we're definitely seeing now more than we used to, and basically every pro player is kind of forced to adopt a really broad champion pool in order to work with. The Spit will take down xron at the very end, but it won't even matter. Look at that beautiful golden Scale Bearer, looking good. Definitely doing 800 more damage than his opponent. Good railgun. That's definitely something that Garpy really didn't make good use of this map. He only hit 2 rail shots out of 6 fired, and when you're going up against a big target like Scale, rail can be one of your most powerful weapons in the toolbox.
Garpy can hit some good rails when the time comes. Today, obviously,